The Center for Educational Media and the College of Education at Middle Tennessee State University are proud to offer professional development to K12 educators in Tennessee through our online video library. These videos are aligned with standards set by the Tennessee Department of Education. For more professional development videos, check out our website at cem.mtsu.edu. Welcome to the Center for Educational Media at MTSU's College of Education. We're so happy you joined us today for another session in the K12 Collaborative. The K12 Collaborative is a professional development program here in the Center for Educational Media, offering focused professional development in 4 areas: the ELL Collaborative, the School Counselors Collaborative, the SPED Collaborative, and our newest one, the AI in K12 Collaborative. Today, we are very happy to welcome Dr. Lori Hill, who is Secondary Instructional Supervisor in Sevier County Schools. She has been doing some innovative work in Sevier County Schools, and she will be sharing some of those practices with us today. Dr. Hill, welcome to the Center for Educational Media. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It is an honor to be here, and it is a pleasure to be able to share with you some of the work that I'm doing in our school system. I've presented this topic before, but I want to present it in a way that it's accessible for everybody. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about using Canvas in Gemini. Now, it sounds like another program, Canvas, but this one is actually within Gemini. And what I like to use this for is to talk about data. And I'm not great at data myself. And even though I am an instructional supervisor, everyone in my county knows data is not for me. Well, actually it is for me. It's just hard for me. But today, and by the end of this session, I'm going to tell you how you can use data and how you can be a coder, because you got to have a growth mindset. We got to be ready and willing to go, because I'm going to tell you what, AI is not going anywhere. Back in the day, you were told you couldn't use calculators. And now we use them all the time. And now sometimes we're saying we can't use AI, but guess what? We are. We're going to have to figure it out, okay? All right, so using Canvas in Gemini, we're creating scalable resources to support teaching and learning using data, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So I want to talk to you about what we're going to look at today. There are 4 major pieces that we're going to really talk about. Why? Why are we doing this? And then, is this legal? We're going to talk about talking to the machine and using prompts, and then we're going to talk about how to put this in a way that glows up for everybody in Canvas. And then I'm going to take you on a grand tour and show you how to put it in a website, okay? So I want to tell you a little bit about me. I am a learner, and I am a creator, and I am a doer. I learn everything that I can, I create everything that I can, and I try to do whatever I can. And with AI, that is something that you have to do too. You have to be willing to spend time learning, you have to be willing to spend time creating, and you have to spend that time doing the work. And that's all in figuring out how to make AI work for you, okay? So I've got some core values that I think a lot of us do in education. Integrity, this is a big piece of AI. You have to be willing to be transparent about the work that you're doing with AI. You have to be willing to collaborate on those pieces. And then think about innovative ways to use it so that it's not always the same thing. We're not just throwing in information into a bot or a Gemini or even ChatGPT. We're really being methodical and thinking about it. And we're thinking about how can we innovate and make AI work for us, okay? And then teamwork, that's really important to me. 2 heads are way better than my head. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because when I sit down and I create something using AI, I show it to somebody else, and then I try to get other people to give me their opinions and their insights, and then we create something that's even better. And I'm gonna show you several of those things today. So today, I'm sharing this little piece of information with you. Whatever you are, be a good one. My mama and my daddy told me that, and that's what I try to live by. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you do. We're on this earth for a little while, and whatever we're doing, we better be good at it. We need to do good work. And that's what this is, and that's why I'm here to share with you something that you can maybe take back and use in your district or with your team or with your leader. So be a good one at it, okay? So that's what we're gonna focus on. So even though I'm not great at math, and even though I'm not great at data, I'm gonna be a good one because I'm gonna use AI to help me, okay? So why? Why are we doing this? And is this legal? That's one of the big things. Is this legal? Well, if you are with Google, if you're a Google district, your school chats aren't used to improve any kind of models with Gemini. And so you can put whatever you want to in there. You can put the data, you can put kids' names, you can do any of those things. And that's what's amazing about Gemini. It's not training on your information. This is one of the slideshows from Google, and it talks about how your private information is still secure. So when you put that information in, feel good about it coming back out. Now I know sometimes there are people that are still skeptical, and I get it. I am too. And it took me a long time to feel comfortable and even trust this process. But the more and more I use it, the more and more I feel confident with it. And I work with my IT department in our school system, and you can too. Talk to them about it, especially if you're a Google district. Now, I don't know what other platforms use and how that data is secure, but I do know through Gemini we are. And so that's what we're talking about today. So to me, everything is figure-outable. Everything. I try my best to try to figure it out. And I put on here, well, math, let me think about that, because that's the most difficult for me. But I am trying, and I am figuring some of those things out. Some of those questions that come to me are, I need to find the trends. What does the data tell us? Look at the correlations, find the trends. Why? Where is all of this heading? Well, to me, that's really important. As an instructional supervisor, I want to know what the trends are telling me. I want to know where are we going and how can I support that? What can I do to support my teachers so they can in turn support their students? Because I work for my teachers. That's who I'm working for. And whatever I can do to make life easier for them, that's what I want to do. And so I'm going to try to figure it out. Okay? Great. These are some really important things to think about. When you start really looking at how am I going to do this? Well, if you can imagine it, then you can do it. Bottom line, that's it. You've got to have the confidence. And here's something that I try to tell everybody. You're not going to mess it up. You're just not. So just try. Try to figure it out. Try to play with it. And, you know, before we would say, I can only imagine. I can only imagine, but not anymore. And I feel like a salesman for like a new cleaning product or something, but I'm not. I am really telling you, this is the stuff of the future. We're talking, we used to have trends in education that had to deal with, you know, paradigm shifts. We used to go through all kinds of, you know, different language in education that made us, you know, start all these new trends. And we're going through this trend right now too. And it's figuring out AI. And we've got to figure it out. We can't be behind. We have to look ahead. And we can go ahead and imagine those things. So don't just ask, build it. Figure it out and build it for yourself. How do we get there? You do those things that we said at the beginning. Teamwork, integrity, collaboration. That's how we're going to get there. And then if you can dream it, let's make it happen. What is your end goal? Keep all those things in mind. What do you want? What do you want to see? So what I wanted to see was, how can I use data to inform the work that I do every single day? And so I set on a path to try to figure it out, because I'm gonna figure it out. I am. That is my MO. If I can't figure it out, it frustrates me. And that's with anything. Being a mom, you know, sewing a shirt, doing whatever, I'm gonna figure it out because I am driven to do so. And I need you to be too when you think about this. This is important. So I want you to talk, or I want you to listen to me talk about what Canvas is in Gemini. It's really important. It's beyond the chat bot. It's not just talking to it. It's not just getting information back and forth. That's not what it is at all. It's better than that. It's a side-by-side workspace. It's designed to let you see what your thoughts are and how that can become a reality, whatever that might look like. And for me, it was a website. And that's what we're focused on today, is really looking at how can we take the language that I use or that I need answered, bottom line, that's the truth. I need this stuff answered. What are the trends? What are the correlations? And I need that done in a way that mathematically computes that for me into some kind of visualization. I'm an English person, guys. I like ELA. I like colors, I like charts, with or without numbers, but I like colors on those charts if we've got them. So that's me. And if you're anything like me, if you're more of a humanities kind of gal or guy, that is what I'm talking about, and that's what I need to see. So it's not just the visual piece that you look at. There's research behind all of this. And so it can transform your notes and do deep research for you and give you some really good insights. I had a teacher the other day say, Lori, I need you to talk to this other teacher who is reading a book out loud to her students that are in her senior AP English course. She shouldn't be doing that. And I thought, well, I used to do that. And was I not supposed to be doing that? Because what research told me and what my gut told me is that everybody likes to be read to. So you want to talk about some good information. I got up on that Gemini canvas and I popped in some info and I got the research to prove the work behind that teacher supporting her purpose of reading to her students. It's incredible. It is really incredible what you can do with this. The other thing is you can build interactive mini apps. Like you can literally teach a child how to do quantum physics using a soccer ball on a field. Now, if you know me and I start talking about athletics, it's scary because I don't know anything about it. So I just said field. I was almost going to say the football field, but I know soccer. I don't even know if soccer is on a football field. But anyway, point being is you can create whatever you want. You dream it, guys. Imagine it. And it's going to come to life for you. It really is. And the one thing that I really love about all of this is because everybody knows how data challenged I am. I'm telling everybody I'm a coder because I am, and you can be too. Okay, you can be a coder too. So if you're not the math person in your district, you wait till you show this to your district. Okay. So here's my idea. I started thinking this stuff. Like I told you, you got to be innovative. You got to think about things that you want to happen. So I had teachers that were telling me they were overwhelmed with the data. And the teachers that I serve are my ELA teachers and my social studies teachers. And I'm not trying to categorize any subgroup of teachers, but I was an ELA teacher, so I can talk about that. And I did not like seeing the numbers all the time. But you give me a good colored graph, and honey, I'm going to go to town. I'm going to just tell you exactly what I need to do, and I'm going to make all my corrections based on those colors, okay? So that was something that was the forefront of my mind. They asked me for the nuts and bolts. Just give me what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And when that can be implied or, used in their classroom, when they can take just the nuts and bolts, it's going to be easier for them to make corrections or changes or adjustments. They want to know what can they focus on? Where can I pinpoint my instruction? What can I really look at and move forward with based on what all data that you're giving me? What's research-based? Where are actionable items? What strategies can I use to help me as the teacher perform better for my students? I've got amazing teachers in my district. You do too. We've all got phenomenal teachers. But my teachers are out of this world. They want the stuff. They want the data. They want the strategies. And you better believe I'm going to try to give it to them, okay? That is what I needed to do. How can we turn this information that's something that's really hard, how can we make it digestible? How can we relate this to state testing? Because let me tell you what, we got an end goal, honey. We got a Super Bowl coming up at the end, and we're going to do the plays every single chance we can in order to get to that Super Bowl. Because we're going to win the championship. It's figure-outable. Remember I said it's figure-outable, so that's what we're going to do. So here's some of the things I started looking at. I thought, well, how can I do this? So I started putting together some information, and I want you to look at this. Look at this piece right here. Now, if you are, and you are in Tennessee, okay? And if you're not in Tennessee, you need to be in Tennessee because we got a beautiful state right here, okay? But these are our standards in ELA, and I just pulled 7th grade as an example. And I want you to look, this is something that Gemini in Canvas did for me. It told me my average mastery on a particular standard. It told me where my students were in regard to mastery levels. And then it told me as the teacher, where is my priority? Where do I need to focus? And if you'll remember, that's what one of my teachers asked. What do I need to do? Show me where I need to go. Okay, and then you can see on the bottom, some of those say monitor, monitor, monitor. Those are areas I'm not going to give up on as a teacher, but I see the areas where I need to reteach. My students didn't get it the first way, so I'm going to try to figure out another way. Okay, another thing, I'm all about competition, even though I don't know anything about sports. I really don't. I do know about competition, and I know competition sometimes is selfish, but I'm a team player competition. That's what I like. I like to compete as a team, and our team is looking at how did we do against the school? How did my students do against the school? How did my students do against the district? And where do they fall in those categories? That is important to me. I want my students to be the best because they are the best. And I believe that my students are the best. And I believe my teachers are the best. So I'm going to give them all this information in these beautifully outlined and colored charts because that's easy to pinpoint and read. So then you can also see how each class performed on the line graph. Class 1, Class 2, Class 3, that'd be sort of like periods, 1, 2, and 3. So that teacher can see exactly where it was. Then I said, you know what? I want strategies. Not only do I want my teachers to know exactly where their data falls and where their students fall, but by goodness, you need to give me something that I can take to the bank and go over there and start using in my classroom. So I said to Gemini, give me some of these research-based strategies that have occurred in the past 10 years that have proven results for student success. And I'm going to tell you what, this came up. And you want to talk about somebody just popping up out of my chair. I was having everybody come up in my office and telling them, I'm going to blow your mind. And this stuff right here will blow your mind. But if you'll look right here, I've got a strategy that's standard specific, a mini lesson right away that teacher can use. I've got one that has concept mapping. I said I want a high impact research alignment. Then I want it to align to our standards guides that the state of Tennessee provided us because guess what? They are the judges at the Super Bowl game. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use those playbooks, okay? And I want you to too. And then I said to my people, my coworkers, I said, come look at all this. And one of them said, you know what would be better? What if you had a SPED strategy in there? Cha-chow, teamwork, collaboration. Yes, it would be better if I put a SPED one in there. So there comes up with the fourth strategy. And then I had an EL person say, what if you added an EL strategy? And I said, I think that would be phenomenal. And so through teamwork, these resources that Gemini and Canvas have created by my words, it's just grown and become one of the most phenomenal resources that we can use for our teachers to show them exactly what they need. Then I had this teacher. This teacher said to me, I can't do anything with these kids. I get the lowest kids in the county. They come to me with the lowest mastery rates. And, you know, I'm sorry. This just isn't going to work. I'll do my best, but that's it. Okay? So I said, you know what would be really neat? And this was also a colleague of mine that I worked with. She actually came up with the idea to do this. She said it would be neat if we used their TVOS data and showed them where they entered and where they exited and put it on a line graph so that they could see if their students really were the lowest students in the county. So on this graph, I said I'd like a line graph with the school in black, regardless if it's going up or down. I want it in black. But I want the teacher data to be in green, red, or blue. Green if the students grew in that year, blue if they stayed the same, or red if they went down. And I'm going to tell you what, this right here will open some people's eyes because that teacher who said she had the lowest kids in the county, guess what? She didn't have the lowest kids in the county. She actually had some of the highest kids in the county, and guess what? Her kids did not grow. But I'm going to tell you what it did for that teacher. She was amazed just at looking at the line graph. It's just right in your face. You can't deny it. So Gemini helped us help motivate a teacher to see she can make some changes. And since then, she has been pushing her kids in a totally different direction and has found a new joy in teaching. Can you believe that? Finding a new joy from AI, Gemini, putting together a line graph. Well, it happens, y'all. It happens. Miracles happen every day. Then I went to a conference. And this conference, these people were saying, 42% of our kids mastered, which was higher than the state. So look at us. And I went to several other people, and they were saying, well, we've got 50. Look at that, 50%. Well, the whole time we're sitting there thinking, 50%, 42%, what about the other kids? What about all the other kids? And so they put up a graphic, and it just immediately, while I was sitting there with my director of curriculum, and as she was sitting there going, boy, that's cool, I was sitting there going, boy, I'm fixing to create that. And that's exactly what I did. While we were in the conference, I created, with the use of Gemini, a visualizer that helps people see, yeah, maybe we have 36% mastery in a particular subject. Those are the green little children there. But look at the rest of those that are white that didn't get it. Yeah, we're above the state. Yeah, we're the highest in our school. We're the highest in the district. But you're okay with leaving the rest of those kids? This is an amazing visualizer just to really show it's all. We need to help all kids. And what if the bottom right-hand corner was my kid? I wouldn't like that. And I don't think you would either. So I'm going to talk to you about how important it is to really use Canvas and Gemini to spark some new joy in teachers' lives, to make a real difference in kids' lives. Now, I like to go to work on Monday, and I like to stay late on Fridays. I really do. And I think it might be odd, but I enjoy what I do. I find joy in bringing other people joy. I think we're here on this earth to help each other. Teamwork, collaboration, those are important to me. And so I want to help other people do the same thing. But I'm going to tell you what, AI is finicky. It can make mistakes. The more information you give it, the more you collaborate with AI, the more you spend time with it, the better it's going to be to you. It's going to be friendlier to you. And I'm going to be honest with you. I talk to it like it's a person. I say please and thank you. I say, oh, this is nice. Because guess what? In my mind, it's a real fake person. And I want to be nice to them, I guess. I don't know. So it's important to talk to the machine. So I'm going to just show you a couple of little pieces about where we're going to go here in just a second. But if you're on Gemini, you're going to see this screen, and it says, where should we start? And I like to think about that a lot. Where should we start? I think about that often. Where should we start? And I know where I'm going every single time. I'm going to the point where I'm going to help a student. If we're always constantly thinking about that, then we know where we should start. We should start at the very top and figure out the best way to help other people affect positive change for students, always, okay? So once we do that, we're going to click these little buttons, and I'm going to show it to you in a little video here in just a second. But you're going to see 3 different areas. Now, I have a pro version of Gemini, but I think everybody, even without a pro version, has all of these options. And I'm going to tell you before I get into this, you can be intermediate, you can be a beginner, you can be advanced. And some of this, the stuff I'm sharing with you may or it may not help you. That's okay. But I'm going to tell you what, this next piece that I'm fixing to show you, it's going to help you in every single day of your life. I promise you, you will get so much better results if you just follow this process, okay? It's the prompt parts. I call it the parts prompt. But it's from Google. And guess where Gemini comes from? Google. And I go back to the analogy of the Super Bowl game or the TCAP test. Wherever that person is that's writing that test, if they've got guides for us, we need to be using them. If there's a Google Gemini and they've got a prompt parts diagram for us to follow, guess what? We need to be using them, okay? So everything that you do in AI and feeding Gemini, or if you use ChatGPT, or if you use Claude, or whichever platform you use, if you will follow a prompt and really dig into what you want, you're going to get better results. So the very first one is the persona. You've got to have who you want it to act like. Now, sometimes I want it to act like a spunky English teacher in a 12th grade classroom, but I can also say I want to act like a leadership principal in a district that serves a large population of SPED students or EL students or whatever. You can act, or the persona can be anybody that you want it to be, but you need to let it know who you want it to be. The aim is where are you going? What's the objective? Where's the bullseye? You know, it's for students. What's going to impact students? You got to think about that. You got to know who's it for. Is it for leaders in your building? Is it for teachers? Is it for students? Is it for your, spouse and telling them how to keep the house clean? Whatever, you got to know who it's for, okay? And then you got to have a theme, like what do you want this universal truth to be about? What is it that you're trying to come up with for AI to come up with for you? And then the structure, what do you want to look like? Me, and if you haven't figured out by now, I'm going to want color, I'm going to want graphs, I'm going to want bars, a scatter plot, I'm okay with that. And we're going to leave the numbers to the side. I mean, I know it's fed by numbers, I love numbers, I'm thankful for numbers, but give me some color, okay? Give me some color. So I'm going to look at the very first one, and I'm going to show you how I personally went through the prompt parts so that I got the result that you're going to see that I get here in a minute, okay? So the first one, persona. I want you to act like an experienced and expert data analyst for a public school system serving grades pre-K through 12th grade. That's who I want you to act like, Gemini. Will you do that for me? That's kind of what I'm saying. Please act like that person, okay? Then I'm going to say, I want you to create HTML code, which to me is fancy because remember, I'm a coder now, but you can be too. But create HTML code so that I can use it on a Google site because I want to transfer this to something that I can use regularly, right? Create a standard item analysis that identifies the lowest achievement percentages on standards based on student performance from the provided data sets. And that sounds all fancy. It really does. But let me finish up here. Use the state of Tennessee blueprints, the judges of the Super Bowl, for the given subject and grade level to identify areas of focus. I want to get it down to the head of the penny. You got to give me the right stuff. That's what I want. That's what I aim for you to do. The recipients are going to be school and district level administrators, but I want my teachers to see this too. I want them to see it. So the interface, y'all, it needs to be friendly and understandable to everybody, okay? Like me, especially me. It needs to be understandable to me. And then my theme, I want it to be research-based and in a very professional tone. I want it to be professional, okay? No jokes in here. And then structure. Now this is the part that gets into the nitty-gritty. This is where you get to imagine. Remember I said, if I can only imagine, you can. You can do that. So here I said the end user should be able to select from grade levels and courses provided based on blueprints from the state standards. Users should be able to upload CSV files for each standard that needs to be retaught based on provided proficiency levels. Give 5 different research-based and proven strategies from the past 10 years to include, number 1, a specific ELA strategy based on the standard. Number 2, John Hattie's research. Number 3, Best for All Central. Super Bowl people. Number 4, SPED strategies. Number 5, EL strategies. Include school and district comparisons in a bar graph along with school and district comparisons by class, and allow analysis to be downloaded into a PDF. Now, that sounds all fancy, all those things. Those are my parts prompts, okay? Those are what I came up with. But let me tell you something. That wasn't the first time. I didn't just sit down and write all that in one little fell swoop. Now, AI is supposed to make everything faster. It really is. But I'm going to tell you it's supposed to help lots of different things. But I'm going to tell you that time that AI is taken away from the other stuff that you have to do, you're going to have to put into these prompts. The more time that you can spend in detailing out your prompts, I'm going to tell you, the better results you're going to get. I promise you. So this was not my very first attempt at creating the parts prompts. I have made many, too many to count, but I keep them. I don't just let them go by the wind. I keep them. I have my Google folder inside of an AI folder, and I keep all my parts prompts in there. And when they turn out nice, ooh, I put a star on those puppies, because those are the ones I'm gonna keep and I'm gonna reuse, and I'm gonna try to, figure out, do I want a different iteration of it? Now that's another word for you. If you're a beginner, an iteration is just a different version of it. So I'm keeping those. I'm keeping all of those. And I get excited about this piece, because when people will talk to me, even in my district, hey, I just did this and this doesn't look like I want it to look like. Well, did you do a parts prompt? Well, I put in, I wanted it to be this, that, or the other. Okay, did you tell it exactly that you wanted a line graph or a bar graph or whatever it is that you wanted? Well, no, I didn't put that, but I did tell them I wanted it to be a visual representation. Well, the more you give it, the better it's going to get. And the more you practice, the better it's going to get. Guys, I don't have all day long in my real 9-to-5 job to work on, well, it's not really 9 to 5. I get there about 7, and 7, let's go 7 to 4, let's say that. From that job, I do not have time to spend all of that time doing this. I've got other things I've got to do. But once you get it down, and I've had to do a lot of this sitting on my couch watching me a little Jeopardy, okay? While I'm watching Jeopardy, I might have it just sitting here on my lap. And I'm going to tell you, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you're going to get and the better results you're going to get. So keep that in mind. So now I want to take a second. I'm going to actually walk you through what I would do if I was putting this in to Gemini. So go to your Gemini and click on the tools. And when you click down, you're going to click Canvas. And then I click the Pro, because when you click the Pro, you got the Pro. You want the Pro toothpaste, you want the Pro canvas. You don't want the fast one. So I'm just copying that prompt from each of those parts that I've already showed with you. So I'm just copying and pasting. And if you had it in one document, you could just copy it all and paste it all and it would be just fine. But you can see this becomes a little bit lengthy, and that's okay. You could even make it longer. You could even write a book, and I'm going to tell you what, it's going to respond to you. No matter what you put in there, it's going to respond. But once you get it all popped in there, all nice and neat like that, and see what I did there was I didn't paste it correctly. So all you got to do is cancel it out and it'll go away. And it's okay. Again, you can't mess this up. I want y'all to be confident in that. You can't mess it up. And everything that you do is going to make a difference. And that means every single word. So you hit submit once you get it there. And I'm going to tell you, this is in real time. This is Canvas. And I had said, write HTML code. So what it's doing is it's thinking, and I'm glad it's thinking, because I don't think I could even come close to thinking about HTML code. But I'm telling you, I do tell everybody I am a coder. So, and you can too. So this is the good thing. You can just impress everybody, everybody. So it's outlining it, it's finalizing, it's showing its thinking. I just love it. And then here, look at that. I did that with my words, people. With my words, I did that. And of course, Gemini, Canvas. But it's putting it all together for you so that you can copy and paste this and put this into something that's visually appealing, something that ultimately your students are going to benefit from, okay? They're going to benefit from this. So while it's still thinking, it's going to preview everything for me. You can see right in the middle, it's loading, it's trying to get everything together for us, and then it's going to put it in a preview mode so that we can see exactly what it's going to look like on the state, or not the state website, but on the website that you use for your school. So like I have a website at my school system that I just play around with, and I actually call it my data playground, but look what it came up with, exactly what I asked it. I picked a certain grade, I loaded sample data, but you know what? It's missing some things. It does have my strategies there, but I really wanted it to be a little more user-friendly in regard to having some more graphs. So the first time I went through, I thought, well, gosh, that sure is impressive. I think it could be better. And so as I looked at it, I thought, well, gosh, that's not exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, you know what? I would like every standard that's identified on here to include a comparison graph. That's what I want. And my teachers are going to want that. They are going to want everything to the school, the district. Remember, we're competitive. I'm competitive in a good way, in a team effort kind of way. But then I thought, you know what? Not only do I want a comparison graph, but I want to be able to put my cut scores in. So if you do benchmarks, we do 3 different benchmarks, the fall, winter, and spring. But I want to be able to put those cut scores in so the teachers can see those targets. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna tell Gemini that, and that's exactly what I did. So I put in the below, the approaching, met, or exceeded, and I wanted that to be put in my graph. So as Gemini is working, it's thinking, well, how can I do that for you? And it's there, and it's aiming to please. I'm telling you, that is one thing that Gemini does. It wants to please you and make you happy. So I love that it tries to do that and make me happy. So I let it know every once in a while. And if I could send it flowers, I would, but I can't. Well, I guess I could with words. I could send it flower words. But anyway, so as we're going, it's figuring it out, and it's telling me it's added some configuration. And so now you can see the round robin up there by the Tennessee Public Schools Item Analysis Dashboard. It's thinking. And that's the sign that it's thinking. It is thinking, and it's going to preview it for me, and I get real excited because I think, what is it going to do now? And so here it is, and I want you to look. Now I can put my cut scores in. I can set those different proficiency levels based on what I've been told by my data analysis, the person at my school district, my psychometrician, and now look at here. Now we've got one for every single standard right there. I was able to put the cut scores in. I've got all my strategies. And I'm telling you what, I'm going to be a new person because of this. This is colorful. Now, if I don't like those blues, guess what? I can go back in and I can say, you know what, I want red, I want green, I want yellow, I want whatever. You can do whatever. It is like making a casserole dish, and whatever you can think of, you throw in there. You got mushrooms, you got onions in the fridge, and they're about to go out. Put them in there. Yes, put them in there, and they will come up with something good. So look what I say here. The export to PDF isn't working. And I remember I said I wanted to make a downloadable PDF, but it's not working. So will you please fix this? And see, look how nice I am. I'm nice to this Gemini because I want them to be nice to me. And I don't know if that really makes a difference, but in my mind it does. And my mama and daddy would be mad at me if I didn't say please and thank you. So I'm going to make sure that they know that they're proud of me for saying please and thank you. So that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you what, Gemini decided I am going to make this work for you, honey, and it did. See, she's working over there, up there at the top, and as soon as she gets done working, we're going to see this PDF export available that, guess what I can do? Download, email to my teachers, print, take to my teachers, or pull out and write on so that my teachers can have access to it. You know, that's another thing. All this data, it's overwhelming. You remember that was one of the very first things my teacher said to me. This is so overwhelming. What can we do to make this less overwhelming? Well, guess what I can do? I can export the PDF, and I can bring it and I can print it for them. If that's the least I can do, then I'm going to do it. Look at this. Now it's working. I'm saving it. I'm going to put it on my drive, or I can even put it on my Google folder drive. And look at this. Look at this beauty. I mean, you can't buy that in the store looking that pretty. Look how pretty she is. And I'm going to print that, and I'm going to give that right to my teacher, and she's going to like it. Now, you can see it's split on those pages a little funky. It's a little wonky. And so I am going to say to it, you know what? This is a lot better. This is looking better. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you. But there are some text pieces that are overlapping. Can you fix that for me? And like I said, Gemini is going to work the hardest she can to make it work for me, because it's kind of like having a little assistant that you don't have to pay for. Well, I guess you do have to pay for if you got the Pro version. But if you don't have the Pro version, that's okay. I bet. Well, you know what? Even if you don't have the Pro version, you can do these things. You do not have to have the Pro version to do this. So it's like a little assistant that wants to please you and take you to lunch. So that's what she's doing. She's making all kinds of help for me right here, and I'm loving it. So she is telling me everything that she did to make it better, and that's what she did. And guess what happens now when I export? Well, I got to load the data for you. But now when I export it, look at the change. Look at the change that she did for me. And so as an assistant, she's probably going to get a little pay raise. Or I'm just going to send her flowers with words, like I said. I think that'll help. I think that'll be a good thing. But look at all of the great information that I have. It's research-based. It's within the last 10 years. We've got John Hattie strategies. We've got everything. We've got everything that we need for that teacher. But it takes practice, guys. It takes a lot of practice. You can't just do this. I take that back. Can't is not a good word. You can do anything you want to. And yes, you can do this right. You can stop watching this video right now and go over to Gemini and have you a great old time. You're gonna get some popcorn and you're gonna have a good time with it. I promise you that. But you do need to take some time and really practice your prompts that engineering of your prompts. That's key piece to what you're doing. So let me show you how you take this information and put it on the website. So now we've come up with this great, beautiful graphic that we have with Gemini. She's worked really hard. She got a gold star. We love it. And now we want our people to see it. That's where we're going to go now. So we've got to inspire people. This was the piece of the pie that helps other people see your vision. This is the part where I said, come in here, assistant director. Come in here, other supervisors. Come in here. I want to blow your mind. This is the part that's so cool too. So let me show you what we're doing. We're building a site, okay? So this is the website. So what I've done is I've copied the code that I had, and I'm going to click on embed, and I'm going to paste the embed code and click insert. And then what I do here is just simply pull the corner out so that it makes a big old spot on my website, and I hit publish. And once I publish it, it shows me what it looks like as a draft, what it looks like when I publish it, and then I can click the down arrow by publish and look at the view published site, and that right there, y'all, that's live. If you had my website, you can get up on there, but I'm not giving it to you. No, sirree, because it's just in my school system, and I'm just playing with it. I mean, I would give it to you, but you can make your own, really. So anyway, I'm not stingy. I'm really not. So if you look up at the top, you can see all these different things that I've put on there. And I've just created this as a test website. That's all it is. I've got my proficiency visualizer that I showed you on there. I've got my grade 7 through English 2 benchmark information like I showed you. There's all kinds of fun stuff on there. There's the ELA grade 7 through 12, and this is what I do. This is my actual website. There's actual teacher data that I'm putting in disguise. They're incognito. But these are proficiency levels that we had on one of our benchmarks. I'm putting it in. And this is my actual document that I use for my teachers. And look at that, y'all. It tells me where I need to reteach, where the kids are approaching. I can look at my class, each single class, how they've done against the district, how we're doing in our school. I can even print this off in a PDF. This is the piece as the district supervisor that helps. Now here's that visualizer. Okay, 75%, that's a good number. Well, I don't know many people that have the 75%, but maybe they do. But 36%, sometimes that's over the state. Sometimes that's over the city or the county or the district. But look at all those other little students that didn't meet it. Are we leaving them behind? Well, here's that dynamic comparison builder that I told you about with the TVOS data. You put in the teacher name, you put in the school and what grade, whatever subject you want. Then I highlight which school is the school, and that'll be the black line that I mentioned earlier. And then I'm going to put my different class periods in. I want my entering score for my first period students here. And I'm going to go from this number to that number. I'm going to put my second period here. And I'm just creating some kind of number to their exiting scores. And then I can put my third period in. And while I'm putting these numbers in, guess what's happening below? She's working for me. She's getting me my little line graphs that I can share with that teacher to help them see, you don't have the lowest kids in the county. Look at that. That's that third period. Boy, they really grew a whole lot. But you can see the red line is second period. They went down. And the black line was their school. Okay, so I've got all these different pieces available that I can use and that I can print for my teachers, because it's important to me that I have resources that my teachers can use and support their love for teaching to help kids reach mastery. So I'm going to tell you what, no matter what you do, if you've got an idea, you can turn it into reality. And I put on here, unless that idea is zero paperwork or a silent cafeteria, then you're not going to get there. You got to be realistic, okay? We got to remain grounded. But I'm going to tell you what, AI is something we have to learn to embrace. It's something that we have to figure out how to make it work for us and how we can use it to help support the work that we're already doing. There's so many different avenues that you can use, so many different resources that are important to the work that you do every day. To me, AI is like a new tractor, okay? It's going to help us plow the fields quicker, faster, more efficiently, but there better be somebody behind that seat so you don't end up in the ditch. And that's you. You're the driver of the AI. You figure out what works best for you, and I'm going to tell you what, you're going to be changed in your career, in your everyday work, and the work that you do to support your students and your teachers in your district. Thank you.
Dr. Hill, I am overwhelmed with what I just heard, and I'm ready to jump into a classroom right now and do some prompt engineering. This was wonderful. I can see this being of benefit to administrators, to teachers, and I appreciate you being with us today and offering these strategies. Thank you for being with us today in the AI in K12 Collaborative, coming from the Center for Educational Media in the College of Education at MTSU. We invite you to view this video at a later date on our website, and we're so glad you joined us today. We hope you enjoyed this session produced by the Center for Educational Media. We're so excited to invite you to participate in CEM Online, our learning management system for virtual professional development. At CEM Online, you can complete video courses and download professional development certificates. To access CEM Online, go to cem.mtsu.edu.